Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Slingshot Summit. So today we are doing our influencer panel right now. Thank you to everyone who came and watched me speak to Dallas K earlier. Really excited for this one. We got a lot of big names. I want to encourage, again, if you find these useful, please find your way to sling.la/donate. That is a direct link to donate to Music Cares and help out artists, which are in need right now, especially because of the pandemic. So again, that's sling.la/donate. If you're on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch, it should be in the description of whatever platform you're on. And so today we have 5 big names, starting with Jacob Pace. Jacob Pace is the CEO of Flighthouse, a creator studio with over 27 million followers on TikTok. Just 21 years old, he built the platform from scratch by creating content featuring some of today's biggest names like Charlie and Dixie D'Amelio, Billie Eilish, Ariana Grande, Addison Rae, and more. For his innovative approaches on tackling social media platforms, he was named to the Forbes 30 Under 30 list. Zoe is a TikTok dancer who goes by Zoifishh on TikTok and Instagram, and she's earned over 4.5 million followers. She has really high energy dances, really fun to watch. We're excited to have her here today. Collins goes by ThatBoyCollins, is a TikTok comedian who posts relatable videos on TikTok. Used to be on Vine, and now he's also on YouTube. He also has over 4.5 million followers. Sarah Schauer is a TikTok comedian who has used her self-deprecating and hilarious stories to earn millions of fans across social media. We love her, and we can't wait to speak with her. And last but not least, we have Cassie Petrey, who is the founder and CEO of CrowdSurf, which is a leading digital marketing company in the entertainment industry. After studying media trends at Warner Brothers, she launched CrowdSurf to offer unparalleled content creation strategy insight to leading influencers across the internet. She was named on both the Billboard Power Players and the Forbes 30 Under 30 lists. So today we're going to talk to these successful, talented creators, as well as these executives, and learn more about social media. Thank you. All right, welcome everyone. Thank you to everyone watching. And so I think we'll just start with some intros. So Jacob, why don't you go first? Tell us a little bit about yourself, what Flighthouse is, a little bit how you got started, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Yeah, totally. Thanks for having me. So yeah, my name is Jacob and I run Flighthouse. And so yeah, like you said, we're basically the biggest media brand on TikTok. So we have 27 million followers, and you know, I've always been into like digital media. Like I started a YouTube channel to promote music when I was like 14. So that was really kind of the first step into getting into all this. And then, yeah, I got on Musical.ly when I was like 18, like a few years ago, and, you know, started experimenting with like sounds on the platform. And that's kind of like how we got our audience. And then we started our original content like a year and a half ago, which is like what everyone sees today on TikTok. On our account. So yeah, that's about it. And yeah, just excited to kind of see where all of this goes.
Awesome. All right, Cassie, you want to go next?
Absolutely. My name is Cassie, and I am the co-founder and CEO of a company called CrowdSurf. We've been doing social media marketing for 14 years, and I worked at a record label before that. So I've been doing this since like MySpace started, and actually registered the first major label artist and ran their page on the MySpace platform. So I've kind of been through a lot of these phases, and I've always traditionally worked with music artists, but throughout the years, I sort of started working with influencers by, collaborating with them on my music projects, and over time just got more involved in the space and really enjoyed it and have ended up managing some different personalities like Lauren Gray. So it's been fun to be a part of that.
Awesome. Collins, do you want to talk a little bit about when you got started, etc.?
Yes. Hello. Hi, I'm Collins. I make TikTok videos as well as YouTube videos. Originally started on Vine back in like 2016, then transitioned to Musical.ly at the time. And funny story, when I first like heard about Musical.ly, I heard it through my sister. I remember coming back from school one day and I saw her phone like laying by the window and making all these silly dances. And I made fun of her. I was like, "What are you doing? Like, you look silly." And she's like, "No, this is Musical.ly. Like, you should get on it. And it's cool, whatever." I was like, "Okay." I downloaded the app, and everyone was like doing mainly dances, and I can't dance. So I was like, "Okay, I'll do what I know how to do best, which is like create my own skits and make my own videos." And I started doing that. Grew some followers, and that's my life today. Great.
Awesome. All right, Zoe, you want to go next?
Sure. I'm Zoifishh on TikTok. I actually started on TikTok like a year ago, like 2 days ago. So it was crazy to like look back and see everything. I started out as like a joke. I was like, maybe I'll post this dancing video, see how it does, and it blew up. So then I was like, okay, I guess I can do this now. So that's what mostly all my TikTok content is. I'm starting my YouTube soon to hopefully like show more personality out there because like people just see me dancing. But yeah, started a year ago and like it's really fun now. So it's right now.
Yeah, awesome. Your audio's cutting a little bit in and out. I think maybe like if you just adjust where your mic is.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, but we heard almost all of it, so it's all
Okay.
good. And then last but not least, Sarah.
Hi, so I'm Sarah Schauer. I used to be a Viner, and then obviously Vine died. My whole shtick was like I hate waitressing, but then I transferred to Twitter, just like kind of, I don't know. And then I went to YouTube, and then I started to grow my YouTube, and then I went on TikTok. And I think I was holding out on like starting off on TikTok because like Vine, I don't know. But so I started making TikToks, and then it was kind of nice because people were like, "Oh my God, I remember you from like literally years ago." There's like people who are like 13 who are like, "Oh my God, I remember watching you when I was 8." I was like, I feel so old. But now I'm on TikTok and I just make like stupid shit. Can I say bad words?
Yeah, I think you can.
Stupid shit. So
yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of all of you guys, so I'm really excited to be here. So let's bring it back to Jacob real quick. So Flighthouse, like you said, is the biggest media company on TikTok. How did you get there? How did you get from 0 to 28 million?
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting, right? Because like, basically with Flighthouse, I was like on Musical.ly and, I had just kind of seen that, Musical.ly was kind of having a moment, just cause I was doing a lot of music marketing and, I actually saw Flighthouse when it was at like 1 million followers. So I didn't actually start it. But then I reached out to the kids that had like, started the account and, I basically told them, I made an offer and wanted to see if they were interested in like selling it, and they were. So we acquired it, and yeah, I mean, just kind of experimented with it and like trialed and errored for a long time, and then finally, a year and a half ago, we put up like our first episode to finish the TikTok lyric, which did really well, and then we kind of kept putting them out. And Zoe, I think you've been in the studio before, right?
Yes, I have once. John Victor.
Cool. Yeah. So, I mean, we just kind of keep like an ear to the ground as far as like what's going on and who's trending and, what kind of fun stuff we can do. But, the honesty is like, it's all just been an experiment so far. And we make a lot of our revenue through like agency work. So we pay TikTokers a lot to do like music and brand campaigns. A lot of it's been an experiment. So yeah, I mean, just as I step into this year, I think I'm trying to just be a lot more intentional with like the projects that I pursue.
Awesome. And then we'll come back to a question I saw in chat, but before we get there, so to Collins, Sarah, and Zoe, this like Slingshot Summit is aimed towards artists and managers, people in the music industry. And a lot of times influencers have to build brands about themselves the same way artists do, but they end up usually being more organic. Like it's more of who you actually are. How much work do you guys do to like build a brand for a specific audience, or do you just kind of make the content and see where it goes?
I think at first it was kind of just like make the content and see how it goes, but now like I feel like we all have maybe our niche and like we get like feedback and we see what types of videos they like. Like when I did the I Hate Waitressing series, it was on Vine. It was like a couple videos. And then so many people were like, you know what, I like that because so many people work in the service industry. And then you just kind of go from there. When you get started, if you like happen to gain a following by accident, it's just like kind of what the comments are saying is that you start to make, and then you build the brand, you know, you feel out like they like the gay stuff. I'm gay, so I can say that, but like they like all this stuff. And so I kind of just, you run with it and then you build your brand from there.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, definitely just finding your niche. Like when I first started, like I knew what I was good at, which was just making people laugh. Because I've always been told like, oh my God, you're so funny, like you do great, whatever. I was like, okay, cool. And I just like posted like regular, just like everyday life. Like I would like back in high school, I was going through a lot in high school, and like everything would literally piss me off, like growing like back in high school. So I would come back from school and literally turn my camera on and just rant to my camera, and just like everyone would be like, yeah, like, and my followers would be like, yeah, I totally relate to that. And that's just how it like all started. Like find your niche, be true to yourself, just be authentic. Basically just try to just don't like, because a lot of people when they first start doing social media, they try to act like their faves. Mm-hmm. So definitely stay away from that and just do you and be authentic to yourself for sure.
Yeah, what Sarah said too, like I started out by accident. Like I just put out a video and was like, oh, okay, let's see what this does. And then, you know, as I started to post more of like the same content and like realize what the comments were saying, oh, post more. And I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do then. And just started, building my brand from that. And then later you can, you know, just go just more into yourself, like, because I don't show a lot of personality, don't really talk on it. So, yeah, I guess. Just building
Awesome. And so, Cassie, you've done a lot of the really, really hard work for the digital marketing for really, really big clients. And like you said earlier about Lauren Gray. So, like, where do you see the balance between, you know, this is just a person on social media versus like we have to do this work to build a specific brand in order to reach this audience?
Yeah. So, you know, Lauren's kind of interesting because she, you know, she sort of started as influencer, and I think she still is in that category, but she's kind of gotten to the point where it is sort of transcending that, and she's getting to be, you know, read for movie parts and, you know, do voiceovers and do modeling and that sort of thing. And I think that's where I really specialize, coming in and helping somebody and being like, okay, like, you know how to make your content, you know, your audience. How do we sort of make it so that people who book these kind of opportunities get your brand and who you're about? And, you know, how do you get ready for these kind of opportunities? Because just because you make content online doesn't mean you're ready to go model or to go do certain things. So, you know, that's a big part of what we do. But, you know, Lauren runs the show with like her content and her brand. I'm there more for like the bigger new stuff that kind of comes in and is layered on top of that.
Gotcha. And so that's interesting when you mentioned like reading for movie parts and stuff for like Zoe, for example. Like, have you found that it's gotten you, like, have people been reaching out for like dance gigs or stuff like that? Or Sarah and Collins, have you gotten like other outside of social media opportunities from social media, or has it just mainly been like you just do your influencer stuff and stay in that realm?
I think it's like I definitely have gotten more opportunities like that aren't just social media based, but for the most part, mine have just been social media based, kind of. But that would be really cool if it was more not social media based. Just, you know, build yourself out of that too.
Gotcha. And then, Collins, did you want to add anything?
You know, we're all still growing. We're not there yet. But like everything has strictly just been social media for now.
Right.
Yeah.
Sarah, did you want anything?
All of my opportunities, well, like, I don't know. I do a lot of writing as well, and I've kind of gotten to like copywriting, and like I've written a lot of like commercials and stuff. But this is not about me. But my roommate is Brittany Broski, and I've helped her read for like actual like scripts like so many times, and it's absolutely insane the amount of like, you know, going from the internet to like the real world. But yeah, I do see like a lot of influencer friends getting more like real world opportunities. So it's very interesting.
Yeah. And do you guys like, so more than the average person, like you have a lot of attention on you, like 24/7. People are pointing out the things they don't like about you a lot of the time. There's a lot of criticism. They're pointing out things that you might not even see yourself. And then like, how does it feel like constantly being in this limelight? And then Jacob and Cassie, for just like the clients you've worked with, how does it feel? How do you deal with it?
I mean, obviously I'm super famous, so it gets hard. No, I think, I mean, you know, obviously I'm not like, you know, super famous or whatever, but like, you know, I think with the clients that we work with, I don't know. I mean, like my advice is always just kind of like put your attention into the right values, you know, because I think I have a lot of friends, you know, in the space and clients and stuff, and you know, they'll call me sometimes and be like overthink some stuff, and it's just like, you know, or they care a little bit too much about, you know, what like certain comments are saying and stuff, and but it's like at the end of the day, I think like, I don't know, I think, you know, social media definitely has its like role. And again, like, I mean, everyone here is probably have better insight than I have, but, you know, it has its role for sure. But I also think there's like a lot of real world value and like relationships and, you know, hobbies that like, just because you don't document them, like you can also put a lot of value there. Just so you're not like totally determining like the quality of your life of like, did my video do as good as like the last one? And you're not like stressing yourself out. So that's what I've learned too. Even with Flighthouse, like, and that's why I don't stress that much when like, even if we don't like go up that much in followers, like we might have some months better than others. And I'm like, well, you know, let's just like go back to the drawing board and just be patient.
Right.
And my advice on that category is that you have to figure out how to kind of not take things personally and be able to separate your business from you, like as a person, because if you start letting your emotions get the best of you based upon like what people are commenting and making business decisions and social media decisions based upon that can create a lot of problems. And most of the time when somebody addresses drama on the internet, it most of the time, if it's not calculated and thought out non-emotionally, it makes the problem worse versus better. So you just have to figure out how to like be level-headed, be able to detach from the comments and use the comments as feedback and criticism in terms of developing your brand and business better, but don't take that as like somebody attacking your self-worth or who you are, because that can be really hard to sustain.
Yeah, and that's interesting when like the brand versus a person, because a lot of time with artists, right, like you'll have like NBA Youngboy, like that's not his real name, right? But for you guys, literally like your first names or often your whole names, like Sarah, are in like that's really you, like that is your brand, is yourself, and so that can get even harder. And so I'm interested to hear like you three, like what are your experiences with that? Has it gotten to a point where like this is too much, like I can't handle this attention or stuff like that?
Wait, I can't curse here. No, okay. I've learned to like not give up. Because when you've been doing this for like a while, like you just get used to it. Like, I don't know, like I've been through a lot growing up. So there's literally nothing anyone on social media can say that can like make me like hurt my feelings or whatever. Like I'm fine. And also like I love constructive criticism. If there's something that I'm doing that you think could be better, like I'm open to that. I love that 100%. But it's like when you're just hating on someone just for the sake of hating on someone, that's like, okay, pick a finger.
Yeah, it's definitely like you just gotta keep going as long as you're growing. Like if it's you've messed up and you're receiving valid criticism, you take it and you apply it. Like so many people are like, yeah, I'm gonna change, but like until you've done it, like change consistently, like that's what's important. I mean, I've had those moments where like one time a couple years ago, I got into a fight with Tommy Lahren on Twitter, and
oh my gosh,
her entire following came after me on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, and I couldn't go online for like days. But then once you realize like if you know, step back, did I offend anyone or did I actually make a genuine mistake, or is it just like them being reactionary? If they're just being like, if they're just a group of people that just want to be mad, then there's nothing really can just push on. If you've messed up, just apologize and apply it and be a better person, pretty much.
Yeah, Tommy, I know you're watching because you're watching Sarah's every move. So maybe next time we'll have her on here and we hash it out. But Zoe, yeah, were you gonna add to that?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I feel like on TikTok especially, like that's like one of the most brutal, like comment section wise, it's the most brutal, just like because people will just troll on you, even
Mhm.
if everything you're doing is good, you're not offending anyone, people will still troll on you, and you
Mhm.
just have to remember that. Like you'll click on their profile and it'll be like a Fortnite account, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
5 followers or something. So
Yeah.
it's like just stick to what you do. If you like what you're doing and you're confident in yourself, then I think that's good. Just
Awesome. Yeah. And so this is a question that actually was inspired by something I saw on Cassie's Instagram just yesterday. And I brought it up with Dallas earlier. So shout out to Dallas. Um, this applies to artists and influencers. How is it like moving from platform to platform? Because I know Cassie said on Instagram, like there is no harm in just making content on a new platform because you never know. And Dallas said this, like you never know what the next big like social media wave will be, right? Like when TikTok was Musically, no one was really using it except for like Jacob Sartorius or whatever. And now it's like the biggest social media platform in the world. And so oftentimes creators can get left behind. Like a lot of the people that were big on Vine are no longer as famous. And so, like, how do you guys deal with, like, because there's so much, right? There's Twitter, there's Instagram, there's TikTok, there's Facebook, there's whatever. How do you guys deal with, like, managing all these platforms and then keeping track of what's new?
If I may, there's like this old man mentality where like, so a lot of Viners didn't progress past Vine because they were stuck in the past. So like a lot of old men are like, no, that's stupid. That's a platform. Like, I don't want to be with kids or whatever. That's
Mhm.
just like such a dated like thought process, like you're going to have to adapt if you want to succeed. People are going to hang on for a bit, but if you want to make it long term, you're going to have to go to a new platform and you're going to have to adjust yourself. If you notice that the same type of content isn't working, switch it up. Don't become like jaded and bitter, because when you do that, you don't even hold on to your residual audience that well at that point
Mhm.
either. So you got to be adaptable and don't bitch about it.
Mhm.
Just get on the new platform already.
Right, right.
Yeah, just like what Sarah said, adapt for sure. That's the
yeah,
key word,
yeah. If
adapt.
you want any
And like,
longevity,
yeah,
go
and
ahead.
learn how to like diversify your content.
I agree. If you're doing like the same thing and you want any longevity into like you as a business and your account and your following, definitely switch it up sometimes. Like if you're doing the same thing always, it gets boring. So just like show a little bit more personality or show a different side of you, I guess.
Yeah. And then Jacob, and then I guess Cassie especially, have you seen that like some of your clients are like hesitant to move to TikTok like when it came out per se, or stuff like that? Is it something you have to force them to do, or is it something that you're constantly looking out for? Like what is the next big one, or how do you guys approach that as more of the executive?
I mean, I've been begging people to get on Musically for like 4 years. So a lot of people
Right.
finally did it, finally got it on TikTok in the past year. But I'm like, you lost 4 years of collecting audience and marketing to a platform that was growing and the easiest time to grow. But
Mhm.
people get hung up on like if it's cool or not, and they really lose out on real estate. And
Mhm.
being an early adopter in social media really pays off. Like you can gain so many followers by being somewhere first while people are signing up but don't know how to create content yet. It really is such a magical moment, and
Right.
I want to pull my hair out when my clients won't take my advice on it. So yeah,
Right. Yeah.
that's half of my job. Please sign up for Snapchat. Please sign
Yeah.
up for Triller. I'm like begging people all the time.
Yeah, yeah. And so I was talking, like I said, with Dallas earlier, and we've seen people who have caught like the good wave of TikTok, right? Like Charlie D'Amelio, for example, was not really famous before this. Addison Rae was not really famous. And like Jason Derulo, for example, right? Like was huge in like the late 2000s. Like I, as an 8-year-old, was like Jason Derulo. And then now he has like what, like 30, 35 million followers on TikTok. Maybe that's wrong. I don't know, but a lot of followers. And so, yeah, I think that's really important. It's a really good point. And then Jacob, sorry, did you want to add anything there?
No, I mean, I think like Cassie probably manages more like clients than I do on like just overall. But no, I mean, like I think for me, it's just always comes down to like, you know, is this like a platform that is like authentic to like what you want to do? And that's why like I just think about digital overall, right? It's like, so like, I mean, you know, I've probably gotten asked like over 100 times of artists being like, should I hop on TikTok? And it's like, well, I mean, if you have a good idea, yeah. Like if you like think if it, cause like, I'm not, just the way I think is a little bit different, but I think that like there's art, like Jason Derulo is a good example. Like he probably didn't even need to be sold that much to hop on the platform. I don't know, just that's my assumption, just based on the way he's like running with it. But then you have other artists that kind of drag their feet and like overthink it and like, but look, I mean, like TikTok's just one platform. And I think that's just important for people to remember is like, TikTok's not the end all be all. So just cause like, just cause like there's YouTube, right, where you can build an audience, and there's like, YouTube's great. There's podcasting. There's like so many other platforms that like, just because you're not big on TikTok doesn't mean that like you don't have a career in digital. It just might mean you might be like a vlogger. Like I have friends that are YouTubers that like are just kind of like throw TikTok to the side a little bit just because they're like, I don't know what to do. And it's like, that's fine. Just, be chill and like, yeah, just whatever format comes most naturally out of you. Right. Like, I just started a podcast just to experiment, and like, yeah, I might upload clips to TikTok soon. But I'm not like, all right, let me like do my dance so that I can promote my podcast. It's like, I don't know. That's just, I mean, like everyone's got their lane, but I just like, I'd rather just talk for 15, 30 minutes on a podcast, maybe a YouTube channel too, but I'm not going to like vlog or do dances. Right. So whatever's most authentic to you.
Yeah. For Flighthouse, like, are you ever looking to like, oh, how can I make the next cool trend, or are you just running with it?
No, I mean, Flighthouse is really interesting because we're more of a platform as a brand that like reacts to what's going on. So like, when Sienna Gomez was super hot, like we had her in the studio in like less than a week. So like we take pride in stuff like that. But again, I mean, I think for me, what's like really top of mind this year, at least, is like, how do I look at digital overall and like, where are the best I mean, look, just, I don't, and I feel like this is relevant actually, but it's like, like I was with my friend last night, and he was just saying how like he watches all of his news on like YouTube, and it's literally, it looks exactly like this like 6-panel thing. It's like someone on their screen, like with the Zoom or web screen recording, like, all right, so like this and this, Donald Trump in the Capitol, and it's like a 15-30 minute long video. And like, he doesn't watch, like CNN or anything like that. A lot of people don't. Like, I haven't had cable in forever. I never had cable. And like, that's how we're getting our news. And it's like all on Instagram, it's on TikTok, it's on YouTube. And I guess my point is, it's actually dope. Like even just hearing like these, their stories, these three, it's like, it's crazy, but it's like, it used to be that you had to be this, like, if you wanted to be big in Hollywood, you had to like fly to Hollywood and audition and make a role. And it's like, now you can literally off this thing, become a celebrity, tell like a more authentic story. So
yeah.
Anyway, I forgot the question. It was like somehow tied into it.
Yeah, honestly, I forgot it too. So no worries.
Yeah, but anyway, I'll drop that bar.
Yeah. So next, one thing I wanted to ask about that I had written down, and I guess I'll start with Zoe because I've seen you do this on TikTok a lot because I'm a big fan of your content, is collaborating with other people. So I know you've like collaborated with, this might be a little creepy, but with like Cassidy Condi. And,
love her.
And like the your relationship with Baron and like John Victor and all of them, this little dance squad. I love them so much. But yeah, we'll start with you. What's the process of collaboration? And then like, what do you see that it does? Do you see that it's really super helpful, or is it just fun? You like doing it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like we were in like a TikTok group chat. So that's like how we kind of, would like talk to each other in a way. But yeah, I guess it's just, you hit each other up like, hey, I love your content. Like we should collab. And if you guys live near each other, sometimes they don't. So they have to fly out or whatever. Then you guys like collab. And I guess it's both for how fun it is, and also just anytime you see like two of like your favorite dancers or creators collabing, like it's gonna be a good video anyway, and that's always something to keep in mind. But yeah, I guess just like, and so like with Cassidy, for example, like I feel like she's my best friend on and offline. So like I feel like there's like a chemistry there too with Baron. Obviously, like we're dating, what? So like there's a chemistry there already too. People love to see that content.
Right.
Yeah, I guess it's just, I feel like, yeah, collabing is fun for sure, but it also builds your following and how many views you get and everything.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then Sarah and Collins. Honestly, we'll also add in this question from Laura. For smaller creators, do you think collabs are still a good idea? I guess, yeah. Also to the question earlier, like, are you guys going out of your way to do collaborations, etc.?
With COVID right now, I don't really do a lot of collabs. I feel comfortable doing them with Brittany because she lives with me, so like it's fine. But I think collabing is a lot like, as opposed to, it's like, think about like stand-up comedy. If you're standing on a stage and you're trying to deliver a bunch of jokes, they're either hit or miss. But when you're talking to someone conversationally, you guys are feeding off of each other. So like, especially in the comedy realm, like if it's like banter, I would definitely like, collabs are so amazing because it's like, if you can't think of something, they're going to pick it up, and then it's just like, it's, like one after the other, because I feel like our attention spans are shortening. So it's really nice when you feel the silence, and I think collabs really work in that way. And also, yes, I do think for comedy specifically, smaller creators like collabing together, it's always interesting to see like for comedy specifically, like I didn't think that your type of humor would mesh with your type of humor, but now you guys are together, and it's actually a really interesting dynamic that like it's something they didn't dream up, but it's like really interesting, and it helps, I feel like, a lot.
Yeah, I find it a little bit difficult for myself to do, but collabs are definitely helpful. I just find it a little, it's just a little harder for me just because the people I love are so far away from me that it's really hard to make that happen. And I'm the kind of person where it's like, I really need to like, we need to have great chemistry. I'm not just gonna hop on camera with some random person for the sake of like collabing. So actually before, like I was planning with a couple people to actually meet in LA, but with the whole like COVID thing, it's like really difficult to do that right now.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But collabs are definitely helpful for sure.
Yeah. And then Cassie, for your clients, is that something you guys focus on, or is it just kind of a collab happens when they happen?
A little bit of both. Sometimes clients really want a collab when maybe it doesn't make sense. They're like, get me some collabs. And I'm like, okay, but like you can't just say I want collabs. Like you have to have a vision for what you do in the collab, and like, why are you all together? What type of content are you going to make? So I get that a lot, but sometimes we come up with like, oh, this would be really cool, and you could do something like this, and then we get, match like a music artist with an influencer, and they make something really great. So it can be really great, but sometimes I think some clients hear about collabs on social media and don't understand it. And that's not always like the best position to be in. Right.
Yeah. And then Jacob, I wanted to just ask you a question I saw in chat. What is your favorite Flighthouse video?
Oh, I saw that one. I don't know. I don't really have a favorite one. But I do like, I don't know. They're all like my kids, I guess, I don't really have a favorite.
That's exactly what Dallas said.
Yeah. I can't pick a favorite.
Can you pick a least favorite? No. I'm just kidding.
My kids, man. I love them all.
Yeah. Awesome. All right.
You can have a least favorite kid. So you should say, what's your least favorite video?
I love them all.
And then I guess this is for everyone again, a big thing that happens with young artists and young influencers, honestly, both. Oh, look at is that they usually, like, especially when they're too small to get like formal contracts, or even like just don't care about formal contracts yet, they get scammed out of their money, right? And then a lot of times there's also predatory deals from some management agencies, labels for artists, etc. For you creators wise, and then for Cassie and Jacob after, like, are there any red flags you see that like, I'm not working with this person, or even honestly, do you have any like bad experiences that you want to share and like what you learned from it?
See, that's the perk of having a manager, because I don't have to deal with that anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
I've never really been scammed. I know. I guess I can always like spot one when I see one. I know a legit when I see legit.
Right.
But I have a manager now, so I don't really have to deal with that. That's kind of her responsibility right
Mhm.
now. So I would say like look into finding good management to represent you for sure.
Right.
If that's
Yeah, I
something.
think in the beginning, like I can just think of like maybe one where I was like, oh, I deserved way more after getting a manager. But yeah, definitely having a manager and like a good team in your corner to help you like spot those deals and like maybe you shouldn't do this, even if you want to. Like no, like you deserve more.
Mhm.
I think that's just the biggest thing, honestly.
I think of like it's like I hate when someone overpromises. It's like a roommate. Like when you find like a roommate for the first time and they're like, we're gonna be such best friends. We're gonna go out everywhere. We're gonna grocery shop together. Like that's a red flag for me. Like overpromising is like, I don't know. It should be a red flag. If it seems like too good to be true, it probably is.
Mhm.
Also, like a lot of those companies where like if you go through who they sponsor and all the people that they sponsor are like kids who look like they don't have management, that's a red flag for me because it's like you're targeting younger people who don't know any better.
Right.
And they're probably not offering you enough money and they're probably offering this to people who don't know any better. So I would just look at like who the influencers that sell their products as
Mhm.
well and like do
Mhm.
you have the similar situation as them, you know, sort of thing. But that's my only red flags that I could actually like pinpoint.
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And then Cassie, would you have any advice for someone like about to sign a deal?
Yeah, I mean, a couple red flags. One, if somebody's asking for over 20%, that's a red flag in general.
Right.
I see some people sign like 50% deals, and that is not normal. So don't do that. I get really sad when people do that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the people who are best at finding talent early on aren't necessarily the best managers. So
Oh, okay.
don't go with the first person that reaches out to you
Mhm.
because there's people that are like really great at scouting talent, but they're not necessarily great managers, or they're great at scouting talent early on because they want to scam them. So just look out for that as well. And something else I recommend, and I do this with all of my clients when I can, I like to do a trial versus somebody signing on a full contract
Mhm.
because you get to see if you work well with somebody, but I want to know if I worked well with somebody too. There's
Right.
talent I've worked with, and just because they're talented didn't mean that like we meshed well together or we were a good fit for each other. So I
Right.
encourage if somebody will let you do a trial, like work together for 3 months, like that's a better way to go to see if you all work
Yeah.
as a team or not.
Yeah. And then pointing to Cecilia's question in the chat, thank you for asking this, Cecilia. How did you find your managers, and like, or did they just come to you? And how big were you at the point? Like, would you encourage small influencers to go look for managers, or do they just they just reach out to you?
Mine was like a little weird how it happened because so like my athletic trainer at my college, whatever, his wife like was kind of like she like worked for a really big business or whatever company, and she was like really good at like managing and just helping me out, giving me like she was like my mentor kind of. And so she was helping me out for a while. Like I wasn't paying her, she was just kind of helping me out. And then since she was like so like she was already in that industry, she was able to like find someone that she really trusts. Like we need to get you a real manager now. I think I was
Mhm.
maybe at like 1 million followers when I got it. Yeah, so and she was like introduced me to a few. I got, you know, two different ones that I really liked, and then I chose my management now. But since I knew it came from a trustworthy source, like a person I'd trust anything she said, then I felt comfortable with that. So
Okay. Awesome.
It's honestly, it's very difficult. Like it's very hard. I actually didn't find a good one till like early last year, and I was like really lucky because I had one person reach out to me. And also, I just want to say like you kind of need to know what your goals are before you sign to a management. Like I knew what I wanted for myself in the future, and a lot of management that reach out to me just cannot provide that for me. So I've always turned them down. So I had one person reach out to me, and she couldn't deliver what I wanted, but she knew of a person and she referred me to that person, and that's kind of how I got signed to that. But a lot of time I hear from other influencers, they kind of have to like refer you to like their management. So like if you have like influencer friends who are already signed to management, like they kind of have to like vouch for you. So it's unfortunately not as easy as I would hope for it to be.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I don't really have much to add other than when I first got my manager, I was on a trial period of like 6 months. And also, like, I had a bunch of management companies reach out to me, but I looked through like their portfolio, and I kind of, this is just for me selecting if they reach out to you. I saw the amount of influences they had, and I want a management company with the most engagement, not just the most like people. So like I've had like a couple management companies that just get me residual off of like YouTube. So like people take my videos, put them on TikTok, and then they make me money. And sure, they have an entire like portfolio of people that they do that for, but that doesn't mean they actually manage them. So I just chose management companies where they had a portfolio of influencers who had a decent engagement for their like goal platform. You know, like they may not be an Instagrammer, but if they're TikToker and like, 10% of the audience always likes their videos, like that's when I was like, okay, I trust these people more than other people. But that's pretty much, yeah.
Gotcha. And then Jacob, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I think what everyone said's pretty spot on, just as far as like, what the red flags and stuff like that. And then, yeah, I mean, I think like, generally, I think like, I think a lot of creators can sometimes like be like, I mean, sometimes you do need a manager if you're like actually super busy. But also, I mean, it's like the name of the game sometimes is like, I don't know, it's kind of this philosophy sometimes of like, if you're good enough, like they'll just reach out to you. Or like they'll find you, right? Because it's like, it's all on TikTok and YouTube and whatever. So it's like, I mean, just in my like from what I've seen from like some of my friends that have gotten signed, it's like a lot of it just happens where it's like, I mean, if you're just like crushing YouTube and you get like 1 million subs, or if you're crushing TikTok and you get like a few million followers, like the right person will find you and just reach out, and then you can take those convos. Or, you don't have to go that route. Like if you really need a manager, you can always ask around, or, it's not hard to find their emails, so you can like reach out and stuff like that. But I think it's personally like best case scenario if they reach out to you, because then you tend to have more options like that. And it's also kind of a sign that you're doing something right if people are reaching out to you. So that's just what I would say.
Right. Awesome. And so we are almost out of time, but I think it's okay if we go a little bit over. And so one thing I wanted to ask, which kind of relates to the question from EJ the Loser. Thank you, EJ the Loser, for asking them this question. But I wanted to say, like, social media is like a very, very like roller coaster of a space, if you will, right? Like trends happen, people are famous for a year or two, and then they lose the limelight. And we've seen that with people that were stuck on Vine. And I'm sure we will see that to some people that are on TikTok. So how do you, I guess another way to phrase, instead of how do you make these kinds of careers sustainable, like a more optimistic thing is, what do you guys want to do next? Like, do you have anything planned for where your content is going? Are you just writing it and see how it goes? Do you want to move on to other things in your career?
Yeah, I think it's about like having like a plan for yourself, like what you said, knowing where you're going next and everything. But also it's about having like good people in your corner and like a good support system. Because if you don't have that support system or good friends or where you're at, like it's gonna be hard to even want to continue, because if you don't have something to like ground you, it's gonna be hard to even want to do more things and like make yourself like sustainable, I guess. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, I just think like I've been doing this for like 7 years now, and I've kind of like, I was a copywriter for a bit. I used to do like brand social media stuff, like actual like brand, because I thought like it was after Vine, so I just was a writer for a bit. So I think it's always great to have like a backup career, but also like the internet is not going anywhere. Like be adaptable is like the most like advice that I could give you. Don't say no to like a new platform, and always think about how your content can be like catered to like a certain platform. Like when I think of dance as like the most adaptable content in the entire world, because people always want to learn them. You can make long videos on YouTube, you can make short videos on TikTok, and the more views you get on TikTok, the more the dance is. Like dance is everywhere. It could like be in every single platform. But I think it's just make your stuff adaptable, and also like just be consistent, you know, consistently push out stuff, and don't get disheartened if like a couple videos in a row don't do well, because like, you know, the most random shit pops off. Like just keep producing. I mean, if you're noticing like a steady decline, then that's when you need to like change it up a bit. But like be consistent, be adaptable, and recognize like what thrives the best on each platform.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Colin,
the key word here is adapt. Like you need to know how to adapt, because if you do the same thing for too long and that fades away, you need to learn how to like, okay, what's the next thing? What can I do next? How can I keep this whole thing going? How can I keep the whole momentum going? So adapt is the key thing here. And also like I said earlier, like finding a management, like you need to know what your goals are. Like I know I don't want to stay on social media for the rest of my life. Like I've always wanted to do acting ever since I was like age 7. So when finding a management, I needed to make sure like that was something that they knew, like that's what I want to do long term, and that they can help me get to that goal. So my management right now they've helped me like get into like the right acting classes, and I've been doing that for a few months now. And then once that's done, I can like, you know, they're going to help me find a acting agent. And so like it's all a working process. Like they're there to help you succeed.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's really exciting. And then yeah, Jacob, where do you see Flighthouse going?
Yeah, for sure. So I think like just as we go into this year, I think I just want to like put out better content series. Like TikTok's been cool to like get a lot of attention. But I've just been thinking a lot about YouTube as a place to build audience. Because I don't know about y'all, but like it's a little weird sometimes when like, you know, yeah, we have all these followers, but it's like if I look at the engagement, it's like all of it's coming from For You page. And
right.
I'm just like, and this is like kind of an unconventional opinion about TikTok, but I think like someone's got to say it. But it's like I just don't know. It's like cool for like the hype and like getting viral, but I'm like, I can't reconnect with fans there, you know, like they don't come to our, like they're finding our TikToks on the For You page. So like, I want to build an audience on YouTube where like, you know, I mean, part of my vision is like Hot Ones Inspired, or like Cold as Balls, which is like Kevin Hart's like inspired. Yeah. So it's like Noah Beck, like with his shirt off in an ice bucket, like answering questions, like, you know, it's perfect for the internet. And like it has a place on TikTok. But I think like, I always say this, but like YouTube's the new TV and podcasting's the new radio. And I think all the other platforms really surround those two, in my opinion. But look, I mean, you have like your anomalies like Charlie D'Amelio and Addison Rae, who become like massive off of right. Even y'all, you know, like, I mean, you know, right, like they have pretty big followings off of just TikTok, but that's just what I think. Because on YouTube, when you sub to someone, you're like, you get it in your feed and then, you know, you watch it again. Whereas on TikTok, I still don't understand why people follow accounts. It's weird. I don't understand why we get followers, because it's like they don't really, if they're on the For You page, it's weird. Like I don't really use following on TikTok. I don't think a lot of people do. So anyway, I guess just in general, YouTube is for sure a focus, podcasting, and like just diversifying our platforms.
Yeah, and then we'll bring it home with Cassie. So this will be the last question, and I guess you can also like talk about where you see CrowdSurf going specifically, but you've also been, like you said, in the social media game since MySpace. I was barely alive at that point. And so like you've seen it grow and adapt over time, probably longer than any of us. Like, do you see somewhere that it's going now?
Yeah, I mean, everything kind of goes in the same cycle. Like what happened with MySpace, you know, Twitter followed, Facebook followed, Instagram followed. It's like in traditional marketing, there's a thing called a bell curve, and there's like an early adopter phase. It goes up, it peaks, and then it kind of plateaus off or falls down. And every platform will do that, because there comes a point in time where there's nobody left in the world to sign up for it, and that's when it stops growing. Right, you know, like when you get over 1 billion people sign up for something, there's not really too many places to go from there besides people having multiple accounts.
Right.
So there'll always be a new platform to follow because people get bored. They want something new to sign up for. Their grandparents will get on the platform that once their grandparents would never have even, they're trying to get their kids to be off of it. So
Right.
it's inevitable that it'll always cycle, and there'll always be something new. And the people that win are the people that embrace and learn and figure out where they fit in the ecosystem of whatever is new.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we are all out of time. I wish I could pick your brains for hours longer, but I'm sure you guys had to go too. So thank you guys so much. I learned a lot from all of you. If for our audience, you guys don't follow these guys on social media, you should, because the content is great. Cassie and Jacob, thank you so much for joining us as well. And lastly, I also want to say again, like, if you are feeling generous and if you are enjoying these panels and learning stuff, please donate. Sling.la/donate goes right to Music Cares for artists in need. T5, thank you so much. I know our audience really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, and hopefully we will speak again soon.
Oh yeah, thank you for having us.
So much.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right.